Hello guys, today we are working on a 2003 Ford Ranger. This applies to all the Ford Rangers from I believe 2000 to 2006. If you have a automatic transmission or stick shift transmission or manual transmission I should say, it's pretty much the same process. There is one difference, but it's pretty much the same process. Mine is an automatic transmission, but what we're doing is replacing the radiator. It's leaking, damaged. I have to put water in my radiator every 2 days, and yeah, so we're gonna be going ahead and doing that. This is what the truck looks like. This is what the truck looks like. 03 Ranger, radiator replacement, and yeah. So this is how it's gonna go down, guys. Oil catch pan. If you have a manual transmission or stick shift, if you don't know what manual is, you're not gonna need an oil catch pan, and the process is gonna be way easier. But for either one, whether you have stick shift or automatic transmission, you're gonna need a ratchet. You're gonna need a 8mm socket. You're gonna need a 10mm socket. If you're gonna use so if you can use a short socket or a long socket, but if you use a short socket for the 10mm, I recommend you get an extension. You could have a 3-inch extension or 6-inch extension, it doesn't matter. That's optional, but I'm gonna use the long 10mm socket, so I don't need an extension. Then you're gonna need a 3/4 wrench, open-end wrench, or a combo wrench, which gets you the box end and the open end. We need the open end, so make sure you get that. And then we need a 16mm. Okay, and those are all the tools you need. Okay, so all right, let me show you guys. So first thing you're gonna do is come down here. Come down here under the truck, and you're gonna have this butterfly plug, which you should be able to just twist. So you twist it, you open it, and this is a drain, the drain for the radiator. So you're gonna open it, or it'll come out. Mine's already pretty much drained. As you can see, that's where it was leaking from, and then up there too, by where the hose is, right there, you can see the corrosion from the water. But anyways, so you're gonna come up, when you open up the drain valve, you just get this out, and you know your new radiator should have a new one, but just save it just in case, you never know. And then what you want to do is you want to open up the radiator, that way air goes in and pushes out the water faster. Okay, now after you do that and the water is drained, what you want to do, there's going to be two 10mm, one on the driver's side and another one in the exact same position on the passenger side, on the other side of this fan shroud. And what we want to do is we want to remove those two bolts. They're 10mm. You want to remove them. Okay, so I'm going to remove them, and then I'll show you what's next. That, okay, I'm pretty much on both ends of the intake tube. Okay, so we're going to do that. Just loosen them. You don't have to take them out of the way, because if you do, you might lose the screw. So, and then what you want to do is you just want to twist, and then it'll pop out. Twist and pull. Twist and pull. Actually, on this one, I'm going to disconnect the whole air box right here. Just press in on these and then pull the whole box out. Okay, mine's already popped out, and then just put to the side. You don't have to unplug the electrical. We don't want to mess with that. I mean, you could, nothing bad is going to happen, but I'd rather just leave it alone. Okay, so then we put it to the side, and now if we pull, you have to pull up and then to back, push it back. And now, yeah, as you can see, it's not going anywhere. It's going to be sitting back here. It's going to be held by the fan, the fan propeller, and you know, we just gained all that space. So what we do next now is with the same 8mm, there's two coolant hoses attached to the radiator. One right here, the upper hose, and then there's another one down there. Okay, so what we want to do is disconnect those two hoses. Okay, I'm going under so you can see, and there it is right there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is loosen that up, and then you guys will see. Okay, loosen it up. See, that was easy. Loosen it up. Hopefully it's this easy for you guys. It's a very easy replacement. You guys are gonna save hundreds of dollars, trust me. Okay, be careful. There might be some water coming out. I'm almost certain there will be. Okay, so there we go. We could just leave that hose right there. No worries. Okay, and now we're gonna go to the top one. Okay, so we are at the top now, and so you can see there's another 8mm, and we're gonna go ahead and loosen that up. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, same thing as the bottom. We wiggle. Okay, we wiggle to break the hose loose from the plastic, and then we just pull it out. Wiggle it out. Wiggle it out. There might be water coming out again. Okay, the hose. I dropped my clamp, but that's fine. I'll put it back on later. Just leave the hose right there. It's fine. Just get it out of the way, kind of. All right. And then also, this is your reservoir coolant hose, and it attaches right next to your cap on the radiator. Just wiggle it. If it's too hard and you're afraid that you might rip the hose or something, what you could do is grab a set of pliers, like I'm about to do right now. Just go like this, and then just wiggle it to break it loose. Once it's loose, you can just wiggle it out. Okay, put that to the side. Okay guys, now we are gonna use our 3/4 combination wrench and our 16mm. Okay, now if you have a manual transmission, you're not gonna have to do what I'm gonna do next with these two. So actually, if you have a manual transmission or stick shift, you don't even need these two. Okay, but if you have an automatic transmission like I do, this is what you're gonna do. Again, if you have a stick shift transmission, you can skip this step. Okay, and here we go. 3/4 combination wrench and 16mm combination wrench. And this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna remove the transmission transmission cooling lines that go to the radiator. Okay guys, so like I said, this is our transmission lines right here going to the radiator, and these two lines are to cool the transmission fluid for the transmission. Okay, they use a radiator, part of the radiator, to do that. There's one line right here, and there's another line right down there, which looks right there where I'm pointing, right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our 3/4 open end right there. Okay, and then we're gonna grab the 16 and put it on this one right here. Okay, all right. And so what we're gonna do is just the 3/4, we're gonna make it stay still, and we're gonna turn the 16 end. As you can see, there's two nuts, 1 and 2. So if I turn this by itself, you know, this might come out as well, and we don't want that. Okay, we might have to do that at the end, but as of right now, we just want to get this line out of the way, and then if we have to remove the bigger nut once the radiator's out, we can do that and adjust everything. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this right here. Okay, and I'll show you how to do the first one, and then you guys can do the second one. Here it goes. Okay, so as you can see, just like that. Okay, just like that. And once I have it loosened enough that I can turn it with my hand, I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, matter of fact, it's already loose. I don't even need the wrenches anymore. Okay, and then just want to do it with my hand. There's gonna be a little bit of oil coming out, so that's when we need a catch pan for. So we're gonna put it under our transmission line, directly under where the fluid is going to land, which I think that should be good right there. All right, so we're going to continue right here, and boom, no oil. That's good. The only reason why nothing came out is because this is the oil is at the bottom of the radiator, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna get some out of the bottom one. Okay, so we'll leave that to the side. Okay, and then we're gonna attack the bottom one. Okay guys, so I have my wrenches set up at that bottom transmission line now. It's gonna be the exact same thing as the top line that we just did. So I got my wrenches set. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm not gonna be able to show you guys when I'm doing this one because my hand's gonna be in the way, but it's the same thing as the top one. Okay, so you guys will see right now when I remove it. Okay guys, so I already removed the line. Don't let this stuff intimidate you guys. Okay, you know, ladies, you know, young kids, stuff is very easy, especially this one's pretty easy. And yeah, so I removed the line at the bottom. I set it to the side, and as you can see, it's not there, it's not connected anymore, but it's just as easy as the top one. Okay, I just couldn't show you guys because my hand was going to be in the way. But anyways, the next step now is to remove that 10mm, and there's another 10mm just like it on the other side of the radiator. Okay, so I'm going to remove this one 10mm. Okay, and I'll show you guys. I'm gonna do it, and then I'll show you guys how to do the other one once I have this side off. Okay, so we are now going to remove the one on the passenger side, just right here. Okay. Okay. Okay, and there it is. Okay guys, so that is pretty much it as far as bolts go. This radiator is ready to come out. All we have to do is just push it back, okay, and then just slide it out. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to show you guys when I slide it out because I'm by myself and I can't hold the phone and get the radiator out. But actually, you know what, I have an idea. Hold on. Okay, like I said, we're gonna push it back. At the same time, we're gonna lift. Okay, just be careful with everything we unhooked. If it gets in the way, just try to push it to the side. Okay, but okay, the lines are gonna want to get in the way, but no biggie. Just stop and go, stop and go, and there it is, guys. If you guys want to attack this, you know, it's a very simple job. It's very easy. 4 screws, 4 hoses, 4 screws, very easy, minimal tools. I mean, you could even probably buy a set of tools for like $20-$30 and save hundreds of dollars still. But anyways, don't be scared of it. It's very easy. It's the easiest radiator I've ever done. I've done many. This is by far the easiest one, and this is supposed to be the harder one because it's an automatic transmission. And so yeah, anyways, so there's the old one, and then there's the new one. You know, these are for this truck, it's a couple $100 just for the part itself, the original one. Then if you go to like O'Reilly's AutoZone, it's about $200 out the door with tax and everything. But I was able to find one locally for $135, so I went ahead and grabbed that one. You know, yeah, it is a Chinese one, but then again, the ones at AutoZone and O'Reilly's, they're all Chinese too, and even some original parts are Chinese now too. So, you know, as long as you get the warranty, you're good. This one is a year warranty. The way I see it is, if it lasts 1 year, it'll last many years, you know. So yeah, so what we want to do now is you're gonna have these rubber mounts here, 1, 2 on each side of the radiator, and we're gonna go ahead and transfer them to right here, okay, on the new radiator. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so I got one of the rubber mounts on one side of the radiator, And let me show you guys something. Since this is an aftermarket, okay, by law they're not allowed to make it exactly the same as the original one. So there's gonna be little tiny little, you know, things that they tweak just so that they can lawfully sell it to you. Okay, so on here what I noticed is that this bracket is a little bit thicker than the original one. So when you put the rubber mount on, it's a little bit tougher, but no worries, because I'm gonna show you how to put it on there pretty easy. Okay, so to get it off the old one, you just push that center sleeve out like that, and then you push the rubber through that bracket. Okay, now it's easy on here because this plastic here is thin, and it's able to, you know, well, this one you have to push it through, but on the other one, the plastic, it's thicker, and to put it in you have to like slide it in. Okay, now the thing is that there's like dust and stuff so inside the mount, so it's not that easy to slide in, and it's kind of hard to push it through because this is thicker and it's a smaller diameter here. But no worries, what you have to do is do this. Okay, all you got to do is just get a little bit of WD-40 or any lubricant, soft lubricant, spray it in between the mount. Okay, get it all around, and then check this out, and then you can slide it in way easier like that. Okay, it's a little harder because I'm holding the phone, but you guys get the idea, right? Okay, slide it in, boom. Okay, and then you can slide the sleeve in also. Okay, very easy, no biggie. And there we go. Okay, all right, next step. Okay guys, so the next step is this. All right, so you're gonna have on the old Radiator, you're gonna have these little tabs right here where the bolts screw on, the fan shroud bolts screw onto. There's one on each side of the Radiator. Okay, one right here and one over there. Okay, so be on the lookout, guys, because your new Radiator might come with new tabs. Okay, and then also if you have a like I said, automatic transmission, for the lines, the transmission lines, you're gonna need 2 new O-rings. There's 1 and 2. These came in a little packet with my new Radiator. Okay, and then great, I guess it's not a Chinese, it's from Taiwan, and from what I know, I think Taiwan parts are a little bit better, a little bit more quality. And so right, so then yeah, so with these new tabs, right, you're gonna have to put one in right here and then right here. But if your new Radiator doesn't come with them, or if they tell you that, hey, you got to buy them separate or something like that, no worries. Or if they don't have them, no worries. Just make sure you buy some O-rings. You can buy them at Harbor Freight or any local auto parts store. Just get the old O-ring out. It should only be a few dollars, not too much. And then as far as the tabs, all you got to do is you just got to get a flat screwdriver right here. Okay, and then just pry this out. Pry it out. They'll slide right out, and then you can insert them in the new one. Okay, right there and right there, no biggie. Okay, okay, so I got my new tabs in, and I'm gonna go get my son, my helper, to help me put the new Radiator in, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, I forgot, if you have the transmission lines, because you know you have an automatic transmission, those O-rings I was talking about, we gotta, before we put the, it's easier if we put the O-rings in where the transmission lines are gonna go in before we put the Radiator inside the vehicle. So I already went ahead and put one in. Okay, you just gotta bottom it out, and real easy, you just put it in there. Okay, with your pinky, just push it in as far as you can. Okay, and then with something soft, okay, nothing hard because, or sharp, because you don't want to puncture those O-rings. Just slightly tap it all around. Okay, and then just make sure that it's bottomed out, that it's all the way in. Okay, then that it's stretched, that O-ring is stretched out all the way. You don't want it like, You know, you don't think that just by putting it in there and, you know, like that, you know, because it has to go all around pretty much, that it's stretched out. Okay, you don't want it to be like folded or anything, because then you will have a transmission leak. Okay, all right, so all right, those two right there, those two tabs right there, 1 and 2, we're gonna make sure that we set them on those mounts right there. There's 1 on each side, 1, and then there's 2. Also, if you have an automatic transmission, make sure you clean your lines before you put the radiator in. Okay guys, one quick tip before we put the radiator in, the new one. Something I realized, if we grab a zip tie or a rubber band or anything to hold this line back a bit, just while we put the new radiator in, is gonna make our lives way easier. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a zip tie. Okay, you can get these at the 99-cent store for like $1, a big pack of 100 for like $1, or Harbor Freight for like $2 or $3. Okay, you only need one. So we're gonna put it on the line over this this refrigerant line right here, and then we're just gonna push the line back, force it back. You don't need that much strength, and the line is not gonna get damaged. It's a bit flexible. Okay, we just want to have this line back so that it won't keep pushing the shroud, the shroud in as we're trying to slide in the radiator. Okay, so this way the shroud will stay back. Okay, all right guys, so here we go. We got the shroud out of the way. Okay, now have in mind, maybe the rubber hoses are gonna have to be pushed back, but it should be pretty easy. Just go slow, you know, just check your surroundings as you go. Okay, and yeah, so an indicator is gonna be those mounts that I was talking about. Once the radiator hits those mounts on the side, then you know you're pretty much in there. Okay, so we got the radiator in, very easy. There was not a lot of resistance or anything like that. So once you got it all the way down, just make sure that these mounts here are lined up with the holes of the frame. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our 10mm sockets. Okay, this is the first thing we're gonna do once we put the radiator in. 1 and 2 with our 10mm socket. Okay, and we're gonna put one in here. Okay, so I'm gonna hand tighten this bolt. Okay, you don't want to screw it in all the way, because we might need a little bit of play on the other end to be able to put the screw in. Okay, so I'm just gonna hand tighten it, then I'm gonna come to the other side, put the other one in. You might have to just wiggle it a little bit, but it'll go in. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and start tightening this one up since the other one's already in. Okay, so I'm gonna get 1 and then 2. Okay guys, so here's the second one. All right, so once you get that, okay, the next step is to put the shroud back on. Okay, now the shroud, there's gonna be some hooks at the bottom. There's one right there, and there's one on the other side. Okay, right there. Okay, now there are some little tabs on the shroud. Okay, 2 on each side. One of them, a screw is gonna go through. The other one is just a straight tab, and it's gonna be hooked on the radiator itself, just like this. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so you look at that bottom one, see that bottom tab, you have to line it up with the hook on the radiator. Okay, and then it goes down like that, and that's it. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your 10mm right there, one right there, and another one on the other side. I'm gonna go ahead and put those 2 on, and then I'll show you guys the next step. Okay guys, so I got all my bolts in on the radiator and the shroud. As you can see, the shroud is back on. Okay, again, it's just going to be 2 10mm. After sliding in the shroud, hooking it up at the bottom, there's a hook where it slides into, and then you just align the hose on each side, but in the 10 millimeters, okay? Now the next step is to put on the hoses, okay? The hoses, as you recall, there's one at the top and one at the bottom down there, okay? And just like we took them out earlier, all you got to do is just slide them in, okay? And then tighten up that 8 millimeter. I'm gonna go ahead and do that at the bottom, and then off the video or off camera, and then I'll show you guys how to do the top one just in case. Okay, here we go with this top radiator hose. Okay. Oh, now that I recall, I dropped the radiator clamp, but here it is. Okay, we're gonna slide this in. Should be pretty easy. Wiggle it in, and then screw that on with an 8 millimeter, and that's it. Okay, once you feel it get hard, just give it another 1/4 inch twist, and we should be ready to go. Like I was saying, if you have a stick shift transmission, you can skip this next step. This is only for radiators with the vehicles that have a automatic transmission. Okay, we're gonna hook up the transmission lines, and yeah, so all we got to do is just, you know, reverse, do what we did at first, just reverse it. We're gonna we got our 2 O-rings in the lines. We're gonna hook up the bottom line first, which is that one right there to right there. We're just gonna screw it on, and then this time we're only gonna use a 16 millimeter wrench. And then once it's bottomed out and you feel it like it's hit rock bottom and it's starting to get hard, just give it about a 1/4 turn, and that's all. Okay, we're gonna do that and then do it to that one, and then that should be good. Okay, there's for the bottom one. Now we're gonna hook up the top one. Okay guys, so this is for automatic transmissions. Again, I made a mistake. I should have had this line go under the bottom line, and so what I did is I put it over it. So now I can't go down with this one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and loosen up the bottom one again and then redo it. Okay, but remember, this top one has to go under the bottom line, not over how I have it right now, or else you're not gonna have room to move it down because the bottom one's gonna be in the way. Okay guys, so there you go. Now I switched the line to the bottom of the bottom line. Now I have room, right? Now I can go ahead and put this in like that, bottom it out, and then slide this in right here. Okay, once I slid in, if I see that it's straight, what I want to do is I want to turn it lightly. Don't put too much force into it. If it turns a few times, you know, and it starts getting hard, then you know you got it in there. But if you turn it like a 1/4 of a turn and it gets hard right away, please don't keep going. Like, you know, loosen it up, bring it out again, and then just keep trying it. Because if you put it in, as soon as you start turning it, it's hard. That tells you that you could be cross-threading it, so you don't want to continue going. Well, what you want to do, and maybe what you should do, is also maybe clean the threads with the wire brush. Right, it doesn't have to be this big, you know, it could be a small one. Just go ahead and like clean them a little bit, you know, that will help you not to cross thread them, the threads. And you know, once you brush it a little bit, you know, just slide it in, like I said, bottom it in. Okay, that part's gonna go in like that. Then you slide this in right here, and then you go like that, and then see right there, it's already turned a few times. I know I'm good to go. So once it gets hard, like I said, just turn it with your wrench, 16 millimeter, turn it. Once you feel that it's at the bottom, like right there, just give it about a 1/4 turn. 1, 2, 3, 1/4 turn right there, or less. Okay, and that's it for the transmission lines. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and connect our intake tube. Okay, just how we took it out. You just put the box in right there. It snaps in. There's some little grooves, snaps in, and then we're gonna go ahead and connect this end to the throttle body right here. Okay. Okay, make sure that's snaps in so it won't go anywhere. Okay, and then just make sure this is in all the way, and that's in all the way. And then what you want to do is, with your 8mm, go ahead and tighten this up. Okay, once you got both, once you feel like it gets hard, just give it a nice little turn, and then that's it. Okay, right here it's still loose. Okay. Anyways, you guys get the idea. Okay, that's already tightened. Now what we want to do is our vacuum line is going to go in here, right? Okay, so right here, what I need to do is loosen that up again and then turn it this way a little more so I can line up that hole with the hose. I don't want to tweak this hose too much because then that'll give me misfires later on. Okay guys, so I just, you know, slid it over a little more to line up the hole right here with that hose, and then I was able to perfectly pop it in. Okay, so next step is to get our reservoir line, this one right here, and then put it in here. Okay, in here, slide it in like that. Okay, mine doesn't have a clamp. You know, you could put a clamp on here. I don't have one right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a zip tie, just like what I use to hold the transmission line over. I'm going to use one right here. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure this just goes through right here, and we should be good to go on that one. All we got to do now is just go ahead and put some coolant in there, or water. Okay, I know you're supposed to use coolant. I actually don't have much money right now. I'm not working too much, so I'm gonna go ahead and use water for now, and then on the next one I'm gonna go ahead and replace my thermostat pretty soon, and then that's when I'm gonna go ahead and use the coolant. But you guys should use coolant. Okay, use the Ford, the orange or the yellow, the Go5 Xerix. Okay, that's what Ford uses. Okay, and it should use 50% water, 50% coolant. Okay, anyway, so yeah, just go ahead and top it off. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna top it off. Okay, put the coolant in there, and make sure that before you put your coolant in, make sure that your plug is tightened. This is your plug. It's a little bit different than the other radiator I had, but this one already comes tightened. If it was to be loose, all you would have to do is put an Allen wrench in here, okay, and then just righty-tighty. Okay, you turn it to the right to tighten it. Be very careful. They don't need much force because they're made out of plastic. In reality, what stops it from leaking is an O-ring that's inside here. Okay, so yeah, this one's already tight. I believe all radiators come with it tightened already. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna loosen it a little bit, and I'm gonna put water in my radiator, and then as soon as I see water coming out of here, that's when I'm gonna run down and tighten it. I'm gonna do that to get the most air out of my radiator. Okay. Okay guys, so I went ahead and filled up my radiator, topped it off with water, and then I turned on the vehicle. And then what you want to do is once you turn it on, a little bit of the water is going to go down, so you're going to have to top it off again. And then what we're looking for now is these bubbles. These bubbles, you're going to leave the radiator cap off with the engine on, and you're going to watch for these bubbles. These bubbles, once they go away, right, you might get a little bit that spills, it's okay. But these bubbles, once you feel it, like they go away with the vehicle on and everything. Oh, and then what you want to do is you want to turn on your heater. You want to turn on your heater to the max, or right there. And the reason why you want to do that is because you want the water, the hot water, to flow into the inside all the way through the system, through all the pipes that it needs to flow through. That way we can get all of the, as you can see, it already went down a bit. That way we can get all of the air out of the system. Okay, guys. Okay, so then, you know, once you have the heater on and everything, just leave the truck running, you know, let the engine warm up a bit. What we're doing here is to get more air out of the system. What we want is for the engine to warm up, and once it reaches a certain temperature, our thermostat will open up and allow water from the engine to go into the radiator, and the water that's in the radiator will go into the engine. And so, you know, once that happens, this might need a little bit more water, or, you know, and so then that's how we're able, that way we're able to circulate the water throughout the whole system, and that's how we're gonna find out. So once it starts warming up, I'm not seeing any more bubbles anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. Okay, go ahead and close this up. Okay, there we go. I suggest you buy a new cap, radiator cap, if it didn't come with the new radiator. Mine didn't. I'm gonna go ahead and use my old one, but eventually I'm gonna get a new one. The only reason why I'm using the old one is because in about a week or so I'm gonna be replacing my thermostat, which is over there, and I'm gonna be buying a new thermostat, a new cap, and new coolant. And that's the reason why I'm using water right now too. It's just temporary, just for about a week. But yeah, if you can use coolant 50/50, which should be the orange one, it'll say Ford on there, or a yellow one, it'll say GO5 Zerix for Ford. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let the truck you know, get up the temperature, and then once it reaches to about 180 to 200 degrees, the thermostat will open up, the water will circulate, and then I'll turn off the truck, leave it cooling for about a few hours, enough that it cools down so that I can open up the radiator. And then once it's cooled down, about a few hours later, I open up the radiator, I'll come back and I'll top it off with coolant. And then once you top it up, that's it. You're not gonna need any more topping of coolant. Okay. Okay, guys. So I'm inside my truck, and so let me show you guys something. As you can see, the temperature coming out of the fan, the hot air is over 100 degrees. It's about 120. Now that tells me that the engine is getting hotter. And then but in reality, what we really want to look out for is our temperature gauge. Right, so it's already rising, right? It should be about, I'd say, 140 degrees right now in the engine. But once it reaches about 190, more or less 190, that thermostat will start opening up, and it'll allow all the water to circulate. The cold water in the radiator will go into the engine. The hot water in the engine will go to the radiator, and then that's how, you know, it'll cycle out every so often. Then the thermostat will close, and then the hot water that just went into the radiator will cool down, and then the cooled water that just went in the engine will start getting hot. And so the thermostat works off of temperature. So you know, that is the cycle of it. It'll just keep doing that every so often. But what we're looking for here is on the temperature gauge. We're waiting for the temperature gauge to reach about right there where the top of my fingernail is, and that's when I'll go ahead, turn off the engine, because I know that once it reaches about right there, that's when the thermostat will be open. Okay. All right, guys, so we're pretty much set. My truck's been sitting for about 2 hours after you know, it got hot and water circulated. And then, like I said, I just opened up my radiator cap, just opened it up right now, and it looks like the water did go down. So we're gonna just top it off real quick, and then, you know, after that we should be good to go. So here we go. Top it off, and here we go. Okay, all right, so there we go. Once you top it off, you should be good to go, you know. And then make sure you fill up your reservoir to the specified height. There should be a line on there that says low and max fill. Put it up to where it says max fill, and then you're good to go. After that, you're good to go. If you did have an automatic transmission, because there was a little bit of transmission fluid that was left in the old radiator, you're gonna be a little bit low. So then I'm not gonna record that, but pretty easy. All you got to do is just run the truck. I say run it for about a day, you know, and then once you get home, all you got to do is just put the truck on a flat surface, running. While it's running, just check your transmission fluid level with that stick, and then, you know, it just pretty much, you know, it'll tell you if it's low. But it's got to be running. The transmission's got to be hot and running. The fluid's got to be hot. It'll say on there, you know, it'll have like a line. It'll say low, or it'll say like max, you know, and it'll say hot, max. It's saying hot because it wants you're supposed to check it with the transmission fluid at a certain degree, which should be hot. But if you run it for a while, let's say you run it after more than about an hour, you know, on the road or freeway, whatever, that transmission fluid should be hot enough for you to check it, check the level. If it needs some, all you got to do is just use a little funnel, put it in there, and then just top it off with some automatic transmission fluid. Okay, guys, so that'll be all. I hope I was able to help somebody out. If you guys you know, have any questions, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help, as far as, like, you know, how to do it or what tools. You know, if there was something that wasn't clear in the video, just go ahead and ask, you know, on the questions, no worries. Or if you need help, you know, finding the part or whatever, if you live locally here around like Fontana, Chino, Ontario, you know, and you need you know, know where that place is at, I can let you know. So all right, thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you guys out. Bye bye.